Okay, so hello, my name's Tis, and welcome to this video, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We are in 2020. We are nearing the end of the first act. A lot of you don't know, the Dark Age began in December 2012 and will end November 2045. The Dark Age is characterized by intense levels of radiation, wireless, and by all of the things that you see, right? You see, look, years ago there was this ancient Indian books written about this age, and they said that, where your masculinity is determined by how good you are in bed. Like that's the sickness that we're entering an age where women determine how valuable you are as a man or how masculine you are as a man by how long you can last and how good you are in bed. Um, and that the only enjoyment in life is sex and that everything else is just commentary. That's the dark age. You might say at its worst. I mean, it just depends on how bad degenerate you want to go. But um, we're in the thick of it. Not right in the center. We're not yet in the heat of the fire. But we're in 2020. Now, look, years and years ago, I asked my mum to ask God on my behalf, when will New York City be no longer a habitable, livable place? And God told her 2020. And at that time, I didn't think that year had any relevance to any other country. I didn't ask. We didn't ask. We just said, okay, so New York City is going to be a good city to live in until 2020. Now, maybe 2022 will be good again in New York. I don't know. But I just love that city, and I'm a little upset at myself that I didn't prepare a little better for 2020. I didn't anticipate it a bit better because it did catch me by surprise. I'm not going to be dishonest about that. It did catch me by surprise, the quarantines that started in March. However, I was guided. In March, I was about to make this critical bad move. I was going to go and live at a hostel because I didn't have a place to stay. And I saw this guy walking in front of me with a t-shirt on, and on the t-shirt it said "Fatal Path." And so I backed out on that plan to go and move at a hostel, and instead I moved in with a criminal. I won't go into more detail than that, who I've known for 9 years. He's like a brother to me. Not a brother I see often, but he's there in the background and we have mutual respect. And I went to live with him, and it was certainly the right decision. A lot of good came out of living with him there, but it was temporary. And eventually I had to move out of that place into the place I'm at now. But back to the Dark Age. So the Dark Age again began 2012, December, will end in November. Now, the third act, obviously, November 2045, will be a long, drawn-out blistering of destroying the Earth with fiery weapons of sorts. That's what I had in my vision. The Bible talks about fire coming from the skies. Basically, those dragon satellites, dragons breathe fire, okay? Those satellites that you see on, that Elon and NASA are shooting up into the atmosphere, I believe are weaponized with nuclear weapons, and that they're eventually going to use them from 2045 to 2050 to destroy most of the people on the planet. Now, but what's important to know is that we're nearing the end of the first act right now. January 21st of 2021 will be the end of the first act, and we'll start the second act. And it's important to know that where we are sort of chronologically on a timeline, just so we can plan a bit better, make better decisions and that kind of thing. The reason I'm making this video, because maybe it's going to reach someone out there who's spiritually inclined like me, who wants to live a spiritual life, but hasn't yet established a foundation. And I understand that. Neither have I. I'm still struggling with certain aspects myself. But the what's scheduled for October 4th, okay? It could happen as early as September 29th, but earlier than September 29th, I doubt it. I really doubt it. So September 29th to January 21st, you can pretty much almost guarantee that there will be throughout the world, not everywhere, okay, not everywhere, maybe not where you live, but there will be an attack on our immune systems, which will comprise of viruses, toxins, and wireless. Wireless weakens the immune system. That if it is weak, the viruses take over and they eat the toxins. They get fueled by the toxins, and then they'll attack the body, and the person dies. So the person dies ultimately from the virus attacking the body, not really from the toxins, and not really from the wireless. That's the general theory about it. So you need antivirals. You need antivirals in your body, and I'll probably make another video regarding which are the best antivirals. But this is a time to prepare for, maybe to buy some gold and silver. I'm not really familiar with that world. I don't give financial advice because that's not my world at all. But it just sounds like a good idea to me, finance-wise. And then you've got, food and water for 4 months, because it'll be a period of about 4 months of danger, I believe. Again, not everywhere. So there's that period. Please, prepare for that. Life is precious. Dead people don't contribute to the world. Dead people don't do God's will, okay? So, so there's that. The second act will last until 2035, like there, earliest 2034, but I've looked at the movements, the dates, and 2035 is the year, and then 2045 is the end of the world as we know it, officially, like this civilization as we know it, I should say. Because the end of the world as we know it, it's happening right now. This world, go outside, is it recognizable? People walking around in masks, it's not the same world. 2019, I was out, we were having fun, we were going to dance parties. It was a beautiful world. 2019 was really the last of a great era, When I was out in 2019, I was in Portugal in summer, and I met my soulmate, and we were out on the beach, and I went to a dance party, and it just felt different. It almost felt like a lost youthful moment in time that I haven't really felt for a while. And it felt almost undeserved. The whole world is being promiscuous, drowning in drugs, immensely corrupt, and yet the angels are allowing us to enjoy this European summer without any threats from anyone. I just thought it was a great privilege. Not that I'm loaded with karma like the majority of people, but I just felt like there was a privilege there, and instead of enjoying it to its utmost, I was suffering from other people taking drugs, because the people around me were taking drugs and being promiscuous. So summer was stifled from the sins of man, so to speak. And then 2019 came to an end. It's like I didn't achieve my goals, and it's like, the fact that we had that year and that we enjoyed it and had all those opportunities and we screwed it all up, it was just a shame. Shame on me and shame on others. So now we're in it, 2020, and this, again, will go on until January 21st. And there are some people who are talking about an awakening. And yeah, it's called an awakening in darkness. It's not an awakening in light. People need to wake up to what's real and not what's false, because too many people are believing things that are just false, and they're being optimistic about times that are dark. If people are dying on the streets, they're going to start saying, well, that's for the good, that's for the greater good. I mean, no, people are dying. People don't do good when they're dead. Okay, dead people don't do any good. Surely, I certainly believe there are some people who should not be alive. Certainly the abusers attackers of children. But That's for another story, another video. Uh, so look, we're going to come out of this in January next year, and we all need to be aware that there is then about a 14-year window, 14-year, 15-year window, really. Well, you could probably say 14, because once we enter 2035, it's going to be worse than 2020. Assuming that humanity doesn't correct its course, and I really don't think it will, we've got that window to build our lives, to establish ourselves to the best of our ability. There cannot be falling and stumbling and mistake making, because we waste a lot of time, we make a lot of mistakes, and we don't pick up the right books when we need them most. So there's going to be a real period of time where we have to get our affairs in order. And then after the crisis of 2035, and I don't know what it will be, I don't have any idea really, I haven't given it a lot of thought, then there'll be a final 10-year window, which will be very, those times will be very challenging. I believe that you'll have to be somewhat of a Superman to handle them properly. You'll have to have developed concentration, your ability to leave your body to enter other dimensions. You'll have to have a foresight that can only come from someone who is a mystic, who has concentration. So you're going to have to be almost like a Jesus-type character to withstand the challenges and obstacles of that period, which will probably likely be a period where corporations, it's a borderless world, that's probably the only advantage for someone who wants to travel at least, a borderless world where corporations control the activity, at least financially, of all of us. And we all work for the corporations, and we're earning cryptocurrency. Now, that sounds like nightmarish, and probably is, and that's why I'm saying, for you who are watching this video, to prepare now. And the best way to prepare is obviously develop your concentration so that you can know ahead of time where you need to be living, who you need to be marrying, what you need to be doing for money, who you should be making friends with, and everything else in between. Because times are just getting more constricted, stifled, difficult, constrained, and it's war. It's war against ourselves, it's against our own laziness, our own demons, and against the darkness outside us. Thank you for watching. I wish you all the strength, and please excuse me, it's late at night here. I know this is a very amateur video, but I just felt the need to do this.